Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, and welcome to another video about polars. This video, what I want to do is we're going to cover a couple different things. One, writing and reading using polars, so being able to get data from different files and places. And two, joining data sets. First, just talk about sort of like the vast things you can read and write to. So we're going to be reading and writing to CSV in this video. But just so you're aware, polars, and if you look at the docs, has the ability to read and write to many different formats. So it could be CSV files, IPC, which includes like feather files. This has to do specifically with Apache Arrow and Apache Arrow type constructs. Okay, Parquet. So we can read and write to Parquet using this. We can connect to databases and pull the data from databases. JSON files, Avro files, which are basically a row-based open format. Excel, like for Excel spreadsheets. Open data standard, that's just like an open source spreadsheet format. So if you ever use like OpenOffice, you've probably used that before. Iceberg, okay, so from Iceberg and Data.Lake tables, so you can read the Data.Lake tables, typically by just pointing them to where the file's at. So they have to have access to that particular file system. So in that case, if it's on your S3 or in your Minio, you just have to make sure that you have access to that file system. You'd point the scan iceberg to the metadata.json of that iceberg table, and then you can scan the data. Again, that's read-only. I'm not aware of the ability to write to iceberg yet. And I don't really think... yeah, so basically you should be able to read iceberg with pandas, polars, and DocDB, but I don't think any of them can write to iceberg yet. Basically, really, you need a full-on query engine like a Dremio or Apache Spark to write to iceberg currently. Okay, but again, that story is always changing, so always, stay on the lookout. But yeah, so bottom line is you have a lot of different ways for you to read and write to polars. Okay, so you can go get your data where it is, and then write it to where you need it. So here we have this file, and again, you can always access all the files that I do in any of these videos by clicking in the repo that's in the video description. Everything is collected there, links to external resources, everything you would need to kind of follow along and review the things that I've done in these videos is going to be there. Okay. Now, basically what we're doing here in this file, this is the write CSV file, is we're importing polars, and we're going to create three tables. We're going to create a movie table, which is going to act as a fact table. Okay, so you can see here, it's just going to have a bunch of different movies, and as far as the information on those movies, we'll then join it with other dimension tables based on their respective IDs in those columns. So we generate a data frame from that data set there, and then we write it to a CSV file. So this write CSV is just a method of the data frame object, and then we can specify, hey, what's the name of the file we want to write it to, how it should be separated, in case you want to do like tabs, because some people like tab separated values, TSVs, but then here's sort of how you would separate it, and then whether you want that header column. Then we're going to do the same thing with our list of directors. So here's our list of directors. Okay, and then we create the data set, we create the CSV file there, and then the same thing with genres, we create the CSV file there. Same code, same story. Cool. So if we run this code, you're going to end up creating these three files. I've already done it, so you can run it yourself. Just click, run. Okay, and it'll create these three files. And see, now it says last modified now because I just rewrote them. But if you see, we have the movie fact table, so I can click on here on the movie fact table, and I can actually see it, because that's a cool thing you can do in your Jupyter lab environment, is I can see that, okay, we have our movies, but again, I can't see what the genre and directors are because those are just foreign keys. So I need to use those keys to connect it to the genre dimension table and the director dimension table. Okay. So now that we know sort of what our data set is, then we can go over to our read join CSV file here. Okay. And let's walk through this one. So in this case, what we do is we just load it. And again, it's going to read. So this read CSV method, which is a polars method, so it'll be pl.readCSV, not a method of the data frame. Okay. But basically what we do here is we just read CSV files, and then it loads it up as a data frame. So there's no additional steps. It's just you get the data frame as the output. Okay. So here we're going to have the data frame for each of the three tables that we created. Okay. And again, it's using that read CSV method. Then what we do is we use this join method. So first we're going to use we're going to join movie and director. So here's this is like the joined movie and director data frame. And we start off with the fact table because that's basically where the foreign key relationship is. And then I say, okay, hey, we're going to join it with the director's data frame. And then we specify what is that foreign key field that we're going to join it, okay, with. So basically we say, hey, director ID. So then now it knows, okay, that's the foreign key field. So that director ID field in the movie table should join with the ID field in the director table. And then again, we're doing a left join, meaning we only want matches where movies have a match, which in this case, they all got a match, so we don't have to worry about that. Cool. But again, you could also do like inner, right join, etc. Now that we have that join out of the way, we still want to join the genre. So then what we do here is we do the same thing. We're going to take that to get our full data frame. Then we're going to say, hey, movie director.df. So we're going to start off with where we left off. That's this data frame right here. That's starting from the original fact table. I'm going to join it again. Say, hey, I want to join it with the genre data frame now. And then say, hey, we're doing it on the genre ID, again, left, and that's going to create. So now I have a data set where everything is joined. Now, if I print that, we're going to get this right here. Now, if I look at this, I'm like, this is fine, but maybe I really just don't want these two columns here. Okay, so probably what I want to do is maybe do a select and say that the only columns that I really want are ID, movie name, director name, because we don't need the IDs. IDs were just for joining, so we don't need to include those anymore. Director name. Maybe I don't really care about the birth year for the directors at the moment. All I really want to know is the genre. Genre name. Okay, now if we run that. Oops, I forgot some parentheses. Boop. Okay, now we have a much nicer looking data frame. Okay, so as simple as that. Okay, so you can see here, like doing joins, doing aggregates, doing all the things you're kind of used to doing in SQL, doing them in Python using data frames isn't too bad. And again, if you were to do pandas, there's going to be similar methods for doing everything in pandas. They're going to be not exactly the same, but similar enough that you should be able to work your way around it. But as you can see here, it makes it pretty easy to work with your data in Python. So that's that. So in the next video, we'll talk more about like, hey, let's take those data frames and build something visual out of it. We'll use a library called Seaborn that will allow us to create charts. That's built on another library called matplotlib, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to the next video. So I'll see you there. Have a good one.